Malacanang welcomes the results of the latest World Bank Worldwide Governance Indicators or WGI survey, which were attributed to the Aquino administration's Daang Matuwid advocacy. Presidential spokesperson Abigail Valdez said that along with the World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness Report for 2015 to 2016, the latest WGI survey again affirms the extent of the country's transformation under Daang Matuwid. Valdez noted that the Philippines has shown improvements in all 6 indicators since 2010. This year, the country scored higher in 5 indicators as compared to last year. Over at the lower house, WEF and WGI reports were seen as a vote of confidence on the Aquino administration's good governance reforms. This report.
Although the economy grew at a much slower pace at 5.3% for the first half of 2015, the country's rise in the Global Competitiveness Report of the World Economic Forum was good news for the members of the President's economic team led by NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan. In the 2015-2016 of the World Economic Forum, the Philippines ranked 47 out of 140 economies. It ranks 4th in ASEAN. Singapore ranks 2nd. Thailand at 18. Indonesia is 37. Vietnam is 5th at 57. Government inefficiency, corruption, and the lack of infrastructure continue to be major concerns to boost the country's competitiveness to sustain economic growth. Congressman Luigi Quezon, being vice chairperson of the Committee on Appropriations defending NEDA's budget, said the latest upgrade is a vote of confidence for the President's leadership of reforms for good governance.
Who would not be happy with the continued improvement in the competitiveness ranking? I would expect that the governance issue is and the performance of the economy is pulling that up.
The lack of infrastructure has been given top priority in the proposed 16 national budget of 3.002 trillion pesos. It's a major driver for growth. For 2015, 5% of the country's gross domestic product will be invested in roads, bridges, ports, airports to boost the growing demands for a more efficient transportation system on land, air, and sea to move people and goods all over the country.
There's a lot of things going on now on infrastructure, and with the commitment of the government to further prime it up, we expect to get a substantial improvement in the medium term. No? And then we are also focusing on the human capital part, human capital development, investing in health and education, so that it would enhance the quality of the human skills, no? The skills of our labor force. So that would should further boost our competitiveness. So I think in the medium term, we should we expect to see continued improvement. Should be in the top 20% at the least. 20 of the countries.
Generally, our fundamentals remain strong, and there's an expected increase in infrastructure spending for this quarter, which will of course boost our economy, boost our economic activity, and provide for even more employment that we're currently enjoying. And with these fundamentals in place, we're sure that we are going to be able to hit our growth target for the year, as well as be able to slowly build on sustainable growth for the next few years.
Despite scaling down GDP growth to 6% from the original forecast of 7 to 8%, Balisacan said the Philippines will still emerge as one of the best performing economies in Asia for 2016. China's falling GDP has affected global growth. The fundamentals of the economy has insulated the country from a more negative impact compared to other countries. There are many bright spots of the economy that will sustain its upward trajectory. Consumer spending, fueled by remittances of overseas Filipino workers, which is expected to hit $26 billion, will be a major plus. Manufacturing, despite a drop in exports, the boom of tourism and construction, and most especially government spending. Election spending for the fourth quarter will also be a major factor.
You see, even in the second quarter, the economy actually accelerated compared to the first quarter performance, which is quite unusual, and compared to what you are seeing in the rest of Asia, where the norm is a deceleration of growth, and we expect this to continue to improve in the second half. It's still largely going to be domestically driven. On the demand side, you should see consumption driving the growth, partly because of the low inflation, in particular the food, the inflation and food has decelerated substantially. And remittances continued to be robust. Employment figures have continued to be favorable. So I expect consumption to be quite strong. I expect investment to continue to also remain strong, especially the investment part. The downside risk there is the exports, but the exports and services will I think compensate for the poorer performance of exports in goods. And then supply side, of course, the downside risk there is agriculture because of the El Nino.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.